Welcome Bitcoin friends, it's Bitcoin Mamo. Today we're going to look at the Bitcoin charts, we'll do some TA, we'll look at various time frames, we'll also take a look at market cipher. So let's get straight into it. I did take a break from making videos over Christmas and New Year's. While Bitcoin has pretty much been going sideways, I'm back making videos now and getting back into a regular schedule again. So I want to start here on the monthly time frame. We did just open this new monthly candle and just connecting the overall highs and the overall lows here. We can see this rising wedge pattern for Bitcoin. This has a higher probability of breaking bearish, but in a bull market we do also break to the upside. Even if we were to break bearish from this pattern, we would expect one more touch here to the upside of this rising wedge pattern. We start from the lowest point here. We have one touch on the bottom, one on the top, another one on the bottom. We would expect a second touch on the top side and then a bearish break on the third touch. Some people are also looking at this macro pattern as an ascending triangle. In that case, this has a higher probability of breaking bullish, and we would expect that to happen about 3/4 of the way into the pattern on the third touch on the upside. We'll have to see how Bitcoin behaves if we do get a push back to the upside towards this 60,000 level. Looking at the VPVR, we do see the most amount of volume has been traded at 47,446. Currently we are just above that at 47,765. This would be a key area to get above and hold as support. Also have this order block here in blue. This is from this red candle in an uptrend. This is an area of supply and demand and becomes of interest later on when we react with that area, can act as support or resistance. So we can see we did close the month of December inside this order block. Currently we are above this order block. The top of the order block is at 47,124 and the bottom of the order block's at 43,820. So this was a key order block to hold, and we can also see doing the fib retracement from the 29k low to the 69k high. We did wick down to this golden pocket area and get this bounce. Looking at the stochastic RSI, we are all the way down at a 9 reading. So if we were to come back up for another touch on the top of this rising wedge, we do have plenty of room to go up on the stochastic RSI. Looking at the RSI, we do also have some possible hidden bullish divergence. We do see lower lows between these 2 points, or making higher lows on the price action. And onto the 2-week chart for Bitcoin. We will open a new 2-week candle tomorrow. I've got this same trend line connecting the lows and also this trend line here just connecting the 65k high and this previous high on this recovery from the 29k low. You can see we broke above it and we've come back down to retest this trend line, and so far it is acting as support. And I think this lower trend line may act as the support now that we have retested this downward sloping trend line. We see the same VPVR here with the same point of control, and also have this 2-week order block in blue drawn here, and that order block is between 48,650 and 45,240. This is the monthly order block in yellow, so we do see a bit of an overlap between these two order blocks. So we'd like to see Bitcoin open tomorrow above 47.6 approximately, and keep holding this upward sloping trend line connecting the lows. Looking at the stochastic RSI, we can see it has cooled off here. We're down to a 20 reading. And looking at the RSI, we also have some possible hidden bullish divergence between this low here at 43,000 and our current low with the bodies of the candles at 46.6. I would like to see the new 2-week candle close above this red candle here to give some confidence on that hidden bullish divergence, and that would be to get back above 49,400 approximately. And down to the weekly time frame now. This is that 2-week order block in yellow, and we've also added these weekly order blocks. You can see this order block from this green candle in this downtrend, this red candle in this uptrend, and more recently this green candle in this downtrend. So we do have these 3 order blocks here on the weekly time frame, and we can see we have been using this lower order block as support. And also during this weekly candle, we did wick exactly down to this trend line connecting the overall lows, and we did get a nice bounce currently. On next week's candle, the bottom of this trend line would be at 46,400. And we also see that same fib retracement level where we did wick down to that golden pocket area. Pulling up the EMA ribbon now. On the weekly time frame, we can see we've spent several weeks inside this ribbon and would like to see Bitcoin get above this ribbon, which is currently at 51,500, to show that it has acted as support like it did on these previous occasions. The bottom of this ribbon is down at 43.8, and I think if we start trading below this golden pocket and this weekly EMA ribbon, then I would expect more downside for Bitcoin, possibly to the low 30,000 area again. But personally, I do think we're going to get support here, and we are still making higher lows here and higher highs since this run from 29k. So we still have to look at this as a bullish pattern, and we do also have that possible hidden bullish divergence on several time frames. On the weekly here, we can see lower lows on the RSI while making higher lows on the price action between the same points. Do also see the stochastic RSI is completely cooled off down to a 6 reading, so there is plenty of room to go to the upside if we can get back above this weekly EMA ribbon. Another thing that's interesting here is we're possibly making this a W pattern here, and we can see that more clearly on the line chart here, which just looks at the candle body closes, and we can see we're forming this W pattern here. We do have a higher low, and if this were to play out, we would expect on the new weekly candle, which starts tomorrow, to complete this W pattern and close the week above around 50,900. If we were to do that, we would have a measured move, just taking it from the lowest point to the highest point. That measured move would take us to around 55,000. And we do also see that on the RSI here, just making this a W pattern. And down to the daily time frame now, we have those same trend lines drawn, and we also have this yellow trend line connecting the highs here since this pullback from 69k. And we're looking at this as a possible bump and run pattern. We can see we did break above this trend line. We have come back down to test it as support, and we can see we pretty much touched the trend line here on this pullback, and this trend line connecting the overall lows has acted as support. We did get quite close to it here, but so far this is looking quite good as a bump and run pattern. We do also have these daily order blocks drawn in here. There are quite a few of them. These are the weekly order blocks in yellow. We can see this lower daily order block has acted as support several times on these pullbacks, and currently we've been getting resistance on this order block here, and this order block comes from this red candle in this uptrend, and this other order block here comes from this green candle in this downtrend. We do also see this highest order block here did act as resistance several times on these attempts to go higher, and that order block actually comes from all the way back in February from this red candle in this uptrend. And looking at the daily EMA ribbon now, we can see we attempted to get above it on this run from 45k to 52k, and we did get a rejection. We got pushed back down, and currently the bottom of this EMA ribbon's at 48,750, and the top of the ribbon is at 51,600. So this will be a key area to get above. We can see on the previous pullback here, we did get below the EMA ribbon, and on the first attempt we did get rejected, and on that second attempt we did break through the ribbon. And we also see after this big 55% drop here down to 30k, we did get rejected several times on this ribbon, but once we did get above it, we started using it as support and continued higher. And just looking at the stochastic RSI, we can see we came down to a 20 reading, so this has pretty much cooled off here. Looking at the RSI, we are at around a 44 reading, and I've just got this box drawn here in white, and this is a key area on the RSI around the 50 level, and I just want to show you how this is a key area to get above on the RSI to indicate that we are going to start pushing higher. And if we just look at this consolidation down in the 30k area, we can see we had that big drop, 65k to 29k, and then we do see the RSI here did get rejected on this push higher around that 50 level, and we see several rejections at this level. And once we did break above it here, we can see that we did keep carrying on higher, and that did indicate that the bottom was in, and we started recovering on this move back up to 53,000. And looking at the second pullback here from 53,000 down to 40,000, we can see we got below this white box here again on the RSI, and then it did act as resistance on these first attempts. We went lower again, and then once we did get above this area, we can see we did recover and started going higher again and continuing up towards that 69k area. And we also see it acted as support here on this pullback. And with our current 40% correction here, we can see we broke below this 50 level, and on this first attempt back to the upside, we got up to 52k, and we can see it acted as resistance on the RSI at that 50 level. So this would be a key area to get above, and that would again give me confidence that we have bottomed out and we're going to carry on higher. And now looking at the Bitcoin futures chart on CME on the daily time frame, I've got that same trend line connecting these two highs here, and I don't have the lower trend line because we didn't have that pullback on this chart to that 41,000 area like we did on the spot price chart, because that did happen over the weekend when the futures was closed. But I do also have this bump and run pattern drawn in here, and we can see we did get above this trend line on the futures chart also. We did close the week at 45,815, but the top of this daily candle is at 48,600. So if we do open Monday below 48,600, then there won't be a gap created. And we do also have some hidden bullish divergence here. We can see lower lows on the candle bodies while making higher lows on the RSI. This wasn't present on the spot price chart. Perhaps it was on some exchanges, but on that Bitcoin all-time index chart, that bullish divergence wasn't present. I also have a similar white box drawn here on the RSI at around a 47 to 48 level, so approximately at that 50 level. This also captures a similar thing to what we were showing on the spot price chart. We can see we got rejected several times at this level as we were consolidating in this 30k area, and once we did break above this level on the RSI, we can see that we did start carrying on higher. And on this second pullback here to 42k, we saw a similar thing. We got rejected at this level on the RSI. Once we did break above that level, did give us an indication that that was the bottom, and we did carry on higher. So looking at our current pullback, we can see we got rejected here a couple of times, and we'll be looking to get above this 48 level on the RSI as an indication that we have bottomed out and we are going to carry on higher. And going down to the 4-hour time frame now, we do have those same trend lines connecting these two highs and also the overall lows here, and also this yellow trend line watching for this bump and run pattern. And if we just zoom in down on the 4-hour time frame here, we can see we broke above this trend line. We came back down. We pretty much tested it here for this bump and run pattern, and this white trend line connecting the overall lows here has currently acted as support. We can see on this pullback here, we did bounce off this trend line pretty much exactly. I am looking for this white trend line to act as support now, and this bump and run pattern to start playing out. And looking at the 4-hour EMA ribbon, we can see we got rejected several times here. We did get above it on this first run, and then we did break back down below, and currently it is acting as resistance again. And the top of this EMA ribbon is at 48,000. The bottom of this EMA ribbon's at 47.4. But that daily EMA ribbon will be the more important one, and even more important, that weekly EMA ribbon. We did have some bullish divergence here. We can see we made lower lows on the price and higher lows on the RSI. It did result in a bounce, and I did actually get into a trade here at 46,000, and I did add more at around 46.9. So my average entry is at about 46,500. We do have plenty of room to go up here on the 4-hour RSI, but we would like to see a 4-hour candle close above this block of candles here, which is above approximately 48,000. As we can see, we are making higher highs on the RSI, but currently lower highs on the price. To avoid that hidden bearish divergence, we would need to make a higher high. And we can see that 48,000 level is a pretty key area. It did act as resistance on all of these candles here. And looking at a market cipher now, this is on the 4-hour time frame. We did get a blood diamond here, which can indicate a drop. And we did see Bitcoin drop down here from 48k down to 45.8 approximately. I'd say that move has pretty much played out. We do see a bit of choppiness here with these green and red dots, and the money flow is still in the red. So we'll have to look at some higher term time frames because everything is quite choppy here in this consolidation. The 6-hour does have a green dot. This blue wave is still below the 0 line, but again, this is also quite choppy here. We see on the 12-hour, we do have a green dot that was confirmed. The money flow is still in the red, so we'll need to see this come back into the green. We did have this run here from 46 to 52, and the blue wave did cross the 0 line, but this red money flow wasn't able to get back into the green, and we did have this pullback back down. And just comparing that to this consolidation in the 30k area, we can see we stayed in this red money flow for a while here, and it wasn't until we got back into the green that we did start moving back to the upside. The daily money flow is still in the red. We are looking for a green dot here. And again, we saw a similar thing with this 30k consolidation area. The money flow stayed in the red for quite a long time. And as mentioned in previous videos, the green dots are a little bit less reliable when the money flow is in the red. We can see it's been quite choppy, and we will have to go to the higher term time frames. The 2-day did get this green dot back on the 15th of December, but we did get a red dot on the 29th of December. And again, we're looking for another green dot here. The money flow has just dipped into the red though. And there are some similarities here between the consolidation around that 30k area and our current consolidation. You can see after a big drop, we did have a run up from around 32k to 40k, and then we got pushed down one more time, and then we grinded out the lows here before we started moving higher. So we could be doing a similar thing, but over possibly a shorter time frame. And we remember when looking for a bottom here, we did end up looking for that green dot on the weekly time frame, and that gave us confidence that the bottom was in. Onto the 3-day now, we had that green dot on the 21st of December. We did get a red dot here on the 30th of December though, and it's looking similar to this consolidation again in the 30,000 zone. The 4-day is similar with a green and a red dot. However, the money flow is in the red here. That's more of a bearish sign. And the 5-day is yet to get a green dot here. The money flow has dipped into the red. And we saw choppiness even on the 5-day during this 30k consolidation area. And again, as mentioned, it will be looking for that green dot on the weekly time frame. So this is the weekly, and we see in that 30k zone, once we got that green dot on the weekly time frame, that indicated the bottom was in, and we carried on higher. So we do see this blue wave coming down here, and we will open a new weekly tomorrow. So depending on the price action here, we could see a green dot sooner on the weekly. That would give me confidence that the bottom is in, or this could possibly take several weeks to play out. So I think that's about all. We'll just have to keep watching Bitcoin. We'll have to see what happens once the futures market opens again and look to avoid that gap and keep watching these trend lines. We do have that bump and run pattern on the daily, which is still looking good. And we are also bouncing off this trend line, connecting the overall lows. So I do think this is going to act as support. As to how long this consolidation takes to play out, we'll just have to take it a day at a time and a week at a time and keep looking at those indicators and also looking at the RSI here. And again, if we can get back above around this 50 area, then that would give me confidence that we have bottomed out, as we saw on those previous occasions. This was a good indicator that we were going to start moving higher again. Also, we'll be looking to get above the daily EMA ribbon and open and close a daily candle above this ribbon to give us some confirmation that we're going to push higher again. So I think that's about all. Hope you enjoyed that analysis. Thanks for watching. I'm Bitcoin Mamo. I'll see you next time. Bye.